I think I've entered a parallel universe. The poker's soft, the drinks are cold, the girls are hot. And every flop makes me whisper to myself, look at the sweet baby there.
Hello.
It's been a week in Florida, and honestly, it's unreal. Let's jump into sessions and I'll show you what I mean.
Bet it on me, let it ride. Broke white boy, put it all on the line. Lucky me, lit the Sin City on fire. Money on the floor, watch it double 10 times. Bet it on me, let it ride.
Hey guys, welcome to the first session that we played at Orange City. We're playing 2-5 at Orange City Racing and Car Club. First hand here, low jack leads, we ISO to $35 on the button with king 10 offsuit. Low jack calls, heads up to a flop of jack 10-8 with 2 clubs. He checks it over. On this wet dynamic board, I would like to choose the bigger size to make him raise with his strong hands like 2 pairs or sets, and also let him continue with weak hands. So I bet $40 into 72, low jack calls. Turns a 9 of diamonds, is a one-liner straight-in board now, and interestingly, low jack donks $50 into 112. So what is his range? I think he could be donking here with 2 pairs like 10-9, 9-8, or jack-9, and also he still have some chances that he got a queen or a 7. I would like to continue here and see what he does on the river. So I put in a call, and river's a 4 of clubs, and now low jack continue to bet $75 into 212. Do you smell something? I smell weakness, because if he has a straight here, if he has a queen or 7, I think he would go bigger. Maybe somewhere like 150 or 200, but he never have a strong hand with this $75. I think with our hand here, we can't really bluff catch because he shows weakness by his sizing on the river. I elect to go for it. I raise to $500, wrapping king, queen, the nut straight, and I start talking.
If you're not raising, I'm all good. If you're raising, I gotta be nervous.
Haha, first hand of the day and we get it through. He folds. Alright, next hand here, we open to $30 under gun with my favorite hand, king 9 suited. And the big blind 3-bet to 75. He only got about $150 behind. Normally, I would just fold this hand here, but not this time because it's my favorite hand. We put in a call, heads up to a flop of jack deuce with 2 hearts. We have a flush draw here. And before the flop is dealt, the big blind jams in the dock. So what is his range? I mean, he could be doing it with pocket pairs, some ace king, ace queen, but for now we got a flush draw going. I'm not going to fold after seeing this flop, so we call. Turns a 6 of club and the river is a bang. And 8 of hearts. We hit the flush and we are good. And big blind tables pocket aces. He got cracked. Big pot alert. In this hand under the gun EP hijack lean, we look down at pocket 7s on the button and we ISO to $75. Only the big blind calls, so we heads up to a flop of 10-8-6 with 3 diamonds. We have a straight flush draw here. And interestingly, big blind donks $60 into 162. So what is his range? When a player donks in a hazard pot, I think his range is just full of shit most of the time. So we put in a call, turns a 9 of hearts, giving out a straight now. And big blind continue to bet $130 into 282. So with the straight here going on with a straight flush draw, we put in a call, and river's a blank, a 4 of spades. And now he bets $250 into 542. So what is his range? Let's put the pieces together. I think when a player donks on a monotone flop, most of the time they just don't have it. Because if he has a flush here, I think he would be going for the line to check raise instead of donking into us. But of course, there is exception. I've seen player donks with their nuts bet. But I think there is just a small chance that's happening. So after putting all the pieces together, I would like to bluff catch here. I elect to put in a call. He tables ace 6 offsuit with the ace of diamonds and we are good. In this hand, we open to $25 on the gun with JJ Barea. EP cut off small blind call, so we have 4 ways to a flop of queen 10 8 with 2 clubs. Small blind checks it over. In a multi-way pot, I'm just betting my strong hands and strong draws, so I check my jacks here. EP and cut off checks back, so turns the deuce of diamonds, and now small blind lists $25 into 100. So what is his range? I don't think a player is betting a quarter pot size with a queen, so I think he is on some flush draws, straight draws, so I actually think my jacks is ahead here, so I put in a raise to $75. EP and small blind calls, so we're 3 ways to a river, which comes a 9 of hearts. We hit the straight. Small blind checks it over. EP got about $300 behind. Small blind got about $150 with the straight here. I would like to go for all of it, targeting hands like 2 pair, 10 9, 9 8. So I bet $300, and EP moves all in for 280 effective, and surprisingly small blind moves all in too for 145. We table our straight, and EP tables king jack offsuit. He have the nut straight, and the small blind mugs, and we lose this one.
It's coaching time.
The cutoff checks back on this flop. What's the best hand he has?
10x.
When the small blind leads for 25 on this turn, what's the best hand he has?
10x2. Queen won't bet that small.
Yeah, did they ever have 2 pair or a set or a straight?
Nah, never.
Do you think a flush draw, 8x of clubs, or a hand like 10-9 is ever folding here on the turn?
Not yet.
You have the best hand. Small blind's gonna be relatively inelastic here. Just because you have a hand that looks like thin value doesn't mean you need to choose a small raise size.
I thought I was smart enough to find that my jacks is the best hand, but you're smart to make a bigger raising size.
Yeah, why not just go 150?
At that time, I just think, I have the best hand, but it's not that good, and I don't want to fold out like 10x, but actually they have a lot of inelastic hands.
So I like the raise. Just go bigger.
Next hand here, under the gun limbs, EP ISO to $30, hijack, cutoff, call. We looked at a queen 10 suited in the small blind. I don't think this hand is strong enough to squeeze here, although we have the worst position post flop. I think I still have a big edge, so I put in a call. 4 ways to a flop of king x5 with 2 clubs. We have a flush draw now. We all check it over to the cutoff, who bet $55 into 125. So what is his range? I think he could have some king x, some sets of 8, sets of 5s. Not much reason for us to raise here because he is not capped. So I like to put in a call. EP and hijack fold, so we heads up to a turn, which comes up 4 of spades. I don't hit the flush this time. We check it over to the cutoff, who bets $175 into 235. So I mean, if he choose a small size on the turn, I would be raising, but now he choose a big size. I think he has a strong range betting this size, hands like king x or sets. The odds is not good for us to continue here, so I elect to let my flush draw go. Next hand here, the straddles on EP leans. We look down at pocket nines on the hijack, and we ISO to $75. Only the EP calls, so we heads up to a flop of king 7-6 monotone with 3 spades. I bet $50 into 162, and EP calls. Turns a 10 of hearts, so what is his range? When he called a small size on the flop, I think he could have hands like king x, 7x, 6x, some flush draws like ace x off with the ace of spades. So actually, I think pocket nines has showdown value here, so I elect to check it back. River's a queen of hearts, and interestingly, he lists $225 into 262. So what is his range? Normally, when a player's bet big on the river out of position, they have a strong hand. But for this specific player, I've seen him betting big with his misdraws on the river. Because with this size, I think he's only repping a flush. He won't be betting that big with a king or a queen. So I just close my eyes and put in a call, and he tables queen 10 of spades. He flopped a flush. Big pot alert. In this hand, under gun and cut off limb, we look down at 6-5 suited in the small blind. We put in a call, big blind check, so we're 4 ways to a flop, which comes 7-6-6. Look at that sweet baby there. We all check it over to the cutoff who bet $20 into 15. When I'm considering raising or calling, the undergun players calls out of turn. So several things going here. I think my hand is strong enough to raise, but also the undergun player here is a whale. I don't want to lose him by raising, so I elect to put in a call. Undergun calls 2, so we're 3 ways to the turn, which comes a deuce of spades. I check it over, and interestingly, undergun bets $40 into 75. Cutoff calls, so what are their range? I don't think cutoff ever has a bolt or trips here. He could have hands like over pairs, some flush draws, or straight draws. So for the undergun player, he wanted to call on the flop, so I just don't think he has a 6 here also. So I would like to put in a raise now, targeting hands like straight draw, flush draws, combo draws, or over pairs. I raised to $250, and now surprisingly, undergun moves all in for 1.2k effective. What is going on? Cutoff gets out of the way, so let's range him. I think there is a chance that he has a 6. Our kicker is not good, but it just seems so weird to me because he wanted to call on the flop and now he donks on the turn. And this guy is damn drunk. He was taking shots after shots, so actually I can't really range him into specific buckets. I would give him some monster draws like 9-8 of hearts, 5-4 of hearts. I think in that dynamic he could be just it. I rip it in with my combo draws. Honestly, I don't love this situation, but come on, we got trips here versus a drunk guy on a very wet dynamic board. I close my eyes and put in a call, reverse an ace of hearts. The flush gets there, and under the gun table 6-5 offsuit, and we have the same hand. So we eventually chopping this one up. What a sweat. This hand just makes me giggle, so let's go through it with me. Hijack Limbs cut off ISO to $15, so with this size I know it's never gonna be a strong hand, and we looked at an ace-9 offsuit on the button. Because he doesn't have a strong hand choosing this size, so I would like to 3-bet. I make it a 75, the same player of the last hand on the big blind cold calls. He really wants to play with me so bad. Hijack and cut off folds, so we heads up to a flop of Queen, Queen 5 with 2 hearts. He checks it over in a 3-bet pot in position. I'm range betting small. I bet $50 into 167 and he calls. Turns the 4 of spades. So when he checks it over, what is his range? I think on this top card pairing board, if he happens to have a queen, he would just slow play on the flop. And also, if he has hands like pocket 6s, pocket 7s, pocket 8s, those hands would still call a small bet on the turn. So I bet 75 into 267, and once again he calls. Turns a 9 of hearts, completing the front door flush. He checks it over. I think our hand has some showdown value now against his pocket pairs. And if he hit a flush, I don't think I can make that to fold. I would like to check it back.
Come on, bet something. Bet $5.
I
Makes me feel
can.
good.
I can.
Bet $5.
No, I check.
Bet $5. I called you.
Oh my god. I can't.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm just so lucky hitting the 9s on the river. Hey guys, just finished the first session here at Orange City Card Club. Tonight we played 5 hours and I lost about $500. This card room is pretty nice. Player pool are quite soft. I really enjoy playing here. And Marco will put my total result here. Thank you, Marco. I hope you guys enjoy. On to the next session. Alright, second session here, and we're playing 2-5 at Daytona Beach Racing and Card Club. Can I win a Daytona here? First hand, we open to $25 in the low jack with Queen Jack suited. Hijack and big blind calls, so we have 3 ways to a flop of Jack 10-9 rainbow. Big blind check it over. If I could redo this, I would put in a bet right now, but I was in kind of autopilot mode. I checked it, and hijack checks it back. turns the deuce of spades, and big blind bets $25 into 72. So what is his range? I think with this small size, he can have some jack X like ace jack, king jack, or some pair plus straight draw like queen 10. So actually I see merit raising here, but in game I just elect to call. Hijack folds, so we heads up to a river which comes a king of spades. We have the straight now. Big blind continue to bet $25 into 122. Calling and folding is not the option here facing this tiny size, so I elect to raise to 100. Big blind calls, he tables queen 7 of clubs, and we chop this one up.
It's coaching time.
Your hand's like super vulnerable here. You've only got one person in position. I would just come out and bet.
They're not raising versus a big size, but I see a lot of merit going small.
Yeah, me too. And like if the hijack calls behind you, well, you could just check every turn and just let him monkey stab and tell you what he has with the sizing. And if the big blind calls, you just keep betting for value. And the hijack is way less likely to raise on the flop because they're less likely to raise in position and they're likely to trap when they're next to act when there's a player behind them. Same thing on this turn here. Like I would be finding a raise on this turn to this size.
Okay.
He just has a ton of inelastic stuff. Flush draws, 10x, like 10x of spades, 9x of spades, like 8, 9, 10, 8, just a
Queen
naked
10.
queen. Yeah, just raise his turn, and I would raise relatively large, 150, something like that.
Second hand here, we open to $25 in the low jack with 6-5 suited. Hijack, cutoff, and small blind calls, so we have 4 ways to a flop of king 10, 9 rainbow. Small blind checks, in a multi-way pot, multiple players behind me, I'm just betting my strong hands and strong draws. So I check my 6 high here, and they check it back. Turns a 3 of hearts. There is some hope with our hand now. We picked up some equity off a backdoor flush draw. Small blind checks it over. When they all check on the flop, I don't think any of them have strong hands like 2 pairs, straights, or sets. So I would like to start bluffing here. But I think I don't need to go too big because I would just fold out hands like 10x or 9x. So I bet $50 into 100s, targeting hands like weak king x, some 10x, 9x, some straight draws. Only the cutoff calls, so we're heads up to the river, which comes a bang. A 9 of hearts. We hit the flush now. My plan was to go very big on the river when I missed my flush to fold out king x, 10x, or 9x, but now I don't need to do that. Instead, I would like to size down to get value from king x or 10x. So I asked myself the inverse question: how much would I bet to fold out a weak king or 10? Probably I would go like $250 or $300. So I size down to 150 into 200. Cut off things for a while, and he puts in a call. We table our hand, and we are good.
It's coaching time.
What are the hijack and cutoffs ranges when they check back on the flop?
They don't have a decent king. They
Why?
could have some 10x, they could have some 9x, because they will just bet their good king x on the flop.
Classify the board for me: static or dynamic, wet or dry?
Static, dry.
Yeah. What type of board type do players check back top pair the most?
Static, dry. Yeah,
Why might they
okay.
check back a king on this particular board?
Because they're not that afraid, and they don't want to get check raised. They don't afraid of a lot of turns.
If either the hijack or the cutoff has a weak king that they check back, what are they going to do on the turn if you check to them?
They're gonna stab on the turn.
If they have a hand like 10x, what are they going to do on the turn if you check to them again?
They may check again, but some of them may start betting.
Yeah, they may start betting. All right, if you just come out and go bet here, and let's say you brick, what are they going to do with king x?
Call.
If they even have a 10, what are they going to do with that hand?
Call and tank. Call on the river, maybe, perhaps.
Check this turn. Let's say it checks through. What do they not have?
Yeah, they don't have a king. Never.
So what do you do on the river if you brick?
I just 2x,
Yeah.
400s.
Yeah, okay. And if they bet on the turn, what do you do?
I check raise.
Either way, you win. Turn was my biggest issue with this hand, but river sizing. Why'd you bet 150?
I am targeting king.
You are targeting a king or you're targeting a 10? Because this size to me says I'm not sure what I'm targeting. Yeah, because I think if you're targeting a king, you go much bigger, especially when the board pairs, they get a little more sticky. And if you're targeting a 10, you probably have to go a little bit smaller.
Even if the flush comes in.
Yeah, because do recreational players even see
Ah,
backdoor
don't give
flushes?
a backdoor flush.
What size would you bet on this river to make this guy fold? King 8.
350.
All right, so you could probably go 300 then for
Yep,
value.
yep.
And if he has a 10,
250.
what size are you going to get him to fold a 10?
Maybe 200. 200 is fine. Yeah.
All right, so this size seems, I guess, okay against a 10. I'd probably just target a king.
Next hand here, button open to $15. We look at a Jack 9 suited in the small blind. Normally, it's a 3-bet on the small blind, but he's kind of shallow. I don't want to 3-bet this hand and get shoved. So I just put in a call. Big blind comes along, so we're 3 ways to a flop of, you know what, Jack 9-6 with 2 hearts. We check it to the big blind who leads for $40. Button folds, so what is his range? When he bets pot in a multi-way pot, he loves his hand. He can have hands like some strong Jack X, some sets of 6s, some monster draw like 8-7 of hearts. So with our top 2 pair here, I would like to put in a raise. I raised to $200. I think it's still a little bit too small because his range is just so inelastic. But anyway, big blind calls, so we are on to the turn, which comes a deuce of hearts, completing the front door flush. Because his range has so many flush draws, my hand is now between thin value or showdown value, so I check it over to him, and he bets 300 into 440. I don't think he's betting his Jack X with this size. I just think he got a flush here, so the odds is not enough for us to continue here, so I let it go. Next hand here, low jack limps, we look down at King 9 offsuit, my favorite hand in the hijack, and I make it to $40. Cutoff and low jack come along, so we're 3 ways to a flop of 10-7-5 monotone with 3 clubs. Low jack checks it over in a multi-way pot monotone flop. I'm just betting my strong hands and strong draws, so I check it over to the cutoff who checks it back. Turns a 10 of diamonds. Low jack check it over, so what are their range? When the cutoff checks it back on the flop, I think he got no flush. When the low jack checks it on the turn, I don't think he got any flushes too. So the best hand they can have here is a 10. And I'm confident that I can even fold out a 10 on the river by putting all the money in, because they just don't have strong hands. So I bet pot $125, targeting flush draws or 10 to call, but unfortunately they all fold.
Hey guys, I might have just found the softest game in the States. Tonight we played at Daytona Beach Racing and Card Club. Everybody is limping, they bet when they have it, they check when they missed. With that being said, my cards are kind of slow tonight. You know, I've been card dead for hours, but anyway, it's part of poker. So for the results, we win about $200 in 6 hours. Marco will put my total results here. Thank you, Marco. I hope you guys enjoy. On to the next session.
Big pot alert! Third session in this episode, and we're playing 2-5 at Orange City Racing and Card Club, so let's get started. First hand here, cutoff open to $20. Button calls, we are on the big blind with 7-6 suited. We put in a call, 3 ways to a flop of 9-6-3 with 2 hearts. We check it over and they check it back. Turns a king of hearts, completing the front door flush. Not much reason for us to bet here, so I check it and they all check it back too. River's a 5 of spades. We check it over to the cutoff who bet $35. Button calls, so what are their range? When nobody bets on the turn, I'm just so sure that nobody has a flush. The best hand they can have here is a king, and I think it's a very good spot for us to turn a showdown value hand into a bluff. So I put in a big boy raise to 450. Cutoff makes the fold, everything's going according to my plan, and the button puts in a call. We table a hand and he tables King Jack offsuit. But you know what? I still love this bluff. Second hand here, EP and cutoff lane, we make it to $50 in the small blind with Jack 9 suited. EP folds, cutoff calls, so we're heads up to a flop of King, Queen, 8 rainbow. I check it over and he checks it back. Turns an ace of hearts. We have a combo draw now, so I'm considering between betting or checking. And I think versus this player, he is the same guy who called me down with King Jack. I think checking to let him tell us what he got is a better play, because if I bet here, his top pairs or King X will just call. And I don't think he is folding to me even with a big size on the river, so I like to check it here to get more info from him. And he bet 75 into 105. Yeah, he never has ace king, he never has aces, he never has kings, but I just don't think this player will fold a top pair to me because he just heroed me down with a king on the previous hand. So I like to just call here. Rivers and 8 of club, I miss. is, I check it over to him and he checks it back and he tables ace-6 of clubs. We lose.
It's coaching time.
The guy in the cutoff is the guy you don't think is going to fold top pair to you.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. Like, this guy's, he thinks you're full of shit. He's never going to fold to you, right?
Yep.
So why the hell are we ISOing Jack 9 from out of position then if this guy's never going to fold to you?
Because. You caught me. I shouldn't be ISOing this hand.
Is he folding Queen Jack offsuit?
Never.
Yeah,
He's not
so
folding to me.
Don't ISO this then. If he's not folding shit, don't ISO bad hands that he's gonna call like dominated stuff, and we're just not gonna have fold equity post flop.
Next hand here, EP opened to $20 and we look down at ace-3 suited in the hijack. Normally my strategy here would be 3-bet or fold, but versus this player open, he's kind of tight. I don't think my hand is strong enough to 3-bet, and also there are fishes in the blind, so I would like to put in a call here and invite them to the party. So we put in a call, big blind comes along, so we're 3 ways to a flop, which comes ace-7-6 with 2 clubs. Big blind and EP checks. If I could redo this, I would put in a bet now because when the EP checks to us, he just got no strong ace-6. But in game, my thought was like, oh, my kicker is kind of weak. My hand is thin value, 2 streets value. When you're mostly ahead in some spots, you can do the betting. And also, their draws are more inelastic on the flop and on the turn, but they won't pay us a penny on the river. But anyway, we check it back, turns an 8 of spades. Big blind and EP checks again, so it's time for us to bet. I bet $50 into 57. Honestly, I could go bigger like 75 because those draws are not folding. But anyway, big blind calls, so we're heads up to the river, which comes a 6 of clubs, completing the front door flush. And now big blind bets 125 into 157. So what is his range? When a player donks big on a flush completing river, they just have to flush all of the time. So our top pair here is no good. What if we raise? I did consider raising, wrapping a full house because he can never have a bolt here. He would start betting with his sets or 2 pairs on the turn. But this player, he heroed me down when I put in a big boy check raise, so I think he just think I am full of shit. So if I really do have a full house here, I would go all in. So with that being said, I can just let it go. Alright, in this hand, we opened to $25 in early position with ace-3 suited. Button calls heads up to a flop of king 5-5 with 2 clubs. We have the nut flush draw. In a single raise pot out of position, I am checking my range when I think the board is gonna be overstepped. So I check it to him, expecting him to bet with king X or 5X, and he checks it back. Turns a 9 of diamonds. So what is his range? When he checks back the flop, I think he got some showdown value hands like pocket pairs. So on this turn, I would like to check one more time to him because I think he will start betting with his pocket pairs or air. We check it over and he bets 25 into 52. So what is his range again? He doesn't have a strong king. He doesn't have a 5 on the flop when he checks it back. So I think he has hands like 9x, some pocket pairs like pocket 8s, pocket 7s. So I like to put in a big boy check raise here. I check raise to 200s and he folds. Checking is really powerful. Big pot alert! Ow. We opened to $30 under the gun with pocket kings and EP 3-bet to 100s. Actions back to us, he got about $450 behind when he chooses to 3-bet to this size in early position. I think he got a strong hand. So I decide to move all in here. He call. We fast roll and show our hand and it shows ace-jack suited. Oh my god, are you kidding me? An ace is not enough and he even put a jack out there to tease on me. Turns a 4, rivers a 10, and we lose this $900 pot. Would anyone like to sponsor my air ticket back to Hong Kong? I can't do it no more. Next hand here, a rake open to $20 on the button. We look down at ace-jack offsuit on the big blind. We put in a call, heads up to a flop of queen-jack 3 rainbow. We check it over to him who bets $35. We put in a call with our middle pair, turns an 8 of clubs. We check it over and he bets $50 into 107. He sized down on the turn. But on this white versus white configuration, I still have a pretty good hand to continue. So we put in a call, reverse a 4 of clubs. We check it over and he bets 185 into 200s. So what is his range? I think in this configuration, he could be pretty wide. He opens on the button, triple barreling. He can have hands like ace high, some air like 5-6. So I like to put in a call and bluff catch here. But unfortunately, he tables 10-9 offsuit, which he banked the straight on the turn. Next hand here, EP opened to $20 and we look down a king-queen offsuit in a hijack. With 3-bet to 80, EP calls heads up to a flop of ace-jack-5 with 2 spades. He check it over to us in a 3-bet pot in position. I'm just range betting small. I bet 55 into 162 and he calls. Turns a bang! A 10 of diamonds. Look at the sweet baby there. We have the nuts now. He checks it over. So what is his range? When he called on the flop, I think he had hands like ace X, some jack X. So on this turn, I would like to target ace X. Hands like ace queen, ace king, ace 10 are not folding to a big size. So I go big, 350 into 272, but unfortunately he folds. Big pot alert! In this hand, we move to a 5-5 table, $3,000 cap, and first hand here, button open to $30. We look down at ace queen suited in the small blind. With 3-bet to 150, button calls heads up to a flop of ace 7-6 rainbow. If I could redo this, I would put in a bet right now because I don't think this board is gonna be overstepped, but I was kind of in autopilot mode, so I check it over to him and he checks it back. Turns a 9 of hearts. It's time to go for some value. I bet 250 into 300, button calls, and the river's a 7 of spades. So what is his range? He can have some 9x, some pocket 10s, pocket jacks, or some weak ace-x. So I bet 500s into 800s, and surprisingly, button moves all in for 1.5k. Alright, 3-bet pot is underbluffed, ace high board is underbluffed. I just don't think this guy would turn pocket 8s, some 9x, pocket 10s, pocket jacks into a bluff. And also, this villain peeked at my stack on the turn. When a player look at your stat during the hand, it's always a sign of strength, because they would like to know how much you got behind, how can you stack you off. And on the river, after I put in a bet, he asked how much, acting a little bit frustrated, and then announced all in. So after putting every pieces together, I just don't think he is bluffing here. So I like to fold, and he told me he got ace 7 after the hand. Next hand here, low jack open to 20. We look down at pocket kings in the cutoff, and with 3-bet to 80. Low jack calls heads up to a flop of queen 7-3 rainbow. He checks it over to us. Normally in a 3-bet pot, I would be range betting small, but on this kind of board, high, low, low, I don't think pocket X is folding to a big size, so I bet 100. Low jack calls, turns a 9 of spades. So what is his range? Yeah, we could be losing to pocket queens or pocket 9s, but also he can still have a lot of underpairs like pocket 8, pocket 6s, and on the other hand, he got tons of queen X. Actually, I think many of his queen X is pretty inelastic here. Hands like ace queen, king queen, queen X of spades. So on this turn, I would like to go big. I bet 500s into 365, but unfortunately, he folds. Second last hand of this session, low jack open to $30. Cutoff calls, we look down at ace king offsuit on the button. With 3-bet to 150, low jack folds, cutoff calls, so we heads up to a flop of ace 4 with 2 spades. He checks it over, and when I'm thinking, look what he does. He mucks? We win. Literally the next hand, the straddle's on, and hijack puts in the double straddle to 20, and we look down at ace king offsuit in the cutoff again. I open to 75, and now button 3-bet to 200s. Everybody else fold, actions on us. With the straddle going on, actually we just have about 130 big blind-ish. So I just elect to 4-bet rip my ace king here. I move all in, and the button folds.
Hey guys, just finished session at Orange City Card Club. I think I played fine today, but in the results we lost $1,700 in 7 hours. Marco will put my total result here. Thank you, Marco. Tomorrow we are gonna play one more session here in Orange City. So I hope you guys enjoy. On to the next session.
Big pot alert! Alright, last session of this episode, and we're playing 2-5 at Orange City. First hand here, we look down at Freddie McCurry in the low jack, and we make it to 25. Hijack cutoff as small blind calls, so we're 4 ways to a flop of Jack 5 deals with 2 spades. Small blind checks to us on this wet dynamic flop. I would like to check my range here because I think they would be overstepping. I check it over to the cutoff who bet $30 into 100. Cutoff calls and small blind make it to 105. So what is his range? I think he can be doing this with hands like Ace Jack, King Jack, and also some Jack X of spades. I've seen this player check raise with draws. He only got about $500 behind, so I would like to put in a raise again. I raised to 300s, hijack and cutoff fold, and now small blind moves all in for about $500 effective. Of course, we snap it off, turns a king, rivers a 10, we show our hand, and he tables Ace Jack offsuit, and we win a big pot. Alright, next hand here, we open on the button with Ace 9 offsuit to $30. Small blind calls heads up to a flop of Ace 8-3 with 2 spades. In a single-raise pot, Ace high flop, my strategy is to overbet or check. My hand doesn't fall into my overbet category, so I elect to check it back. Turns the deuce of spades, and now small blind lists 20 into 60. So what is his range? When the flush completes on the turn and a player donks into us, I think there is some chance that he has a flush here. But also, the size is small, he could be betting it with flush draws or ace-x, so with the top pair here, I elect to put in a call and evaluate on the river. River's an ace of diamonds, and now small blind continue to bet $35 into 100. So what does that mean? I think if he has a flush here, he would go bigger, targeting ace-x, so with the small size, I don't think he has a flush now. So I would like to put in a raise, targeting hands like ace-x with a weaker kicker, so I put in one more black chip. I make it to 135, small blind calls, we show our hand and he tables 9-5 of spades. Actually, he has a flush, so this type of player, they will not telegraph their hand strength by their sizing. I would keep that in mind when he bets small. It doesn't mean he has a weak hand. Next hand here, EP leans, low jack ISO to $20, cutoff calls, actions on us, we are on the button and we looked at a Queen 9 suited. Not strong enough to squeeze, but maybe good enough to play. So we put in a call, EP come along, so we are 4 ways to a flop of King 10 for rainbow. EP checks, low jack bet $40 into 82, cutoff folds. We have a gutter here with a backdoor flush draw, so we put in a call, EP gets out of the way, so we heads up to the turn, which comes a 10 of spades. And when the low jack checks it over to us, so what is his range? I think he can have some overpairs like aces, or some pocket queens or pocket jacks. So on this turn pairing, the middle card, I think it's a good spot to start bluffing. So I bet $200 into 162, targeting him to continue with King X or overpairs, then I can fold them out on the river. But unfortunately, he folds. Next hand here, hijack limps, we're ISO to $30 and the cutoff with Jack 8 suited. Small blind and hijack calls, so we're 3 ways to a flop of King 4 deals with 2 clubs. Small blind checks and hijack donk $45 into 90. When a player donk in a multi-way pot, normally their range is stronger. So with the flush draw here, I would like to call. Small blind gets out of the way, so we heads up to the turn, which comes a bang. A 3 of clubs, we hit the flush. He checks it over, so what is his range? Most of the time he had King X here, so I asked myself the inverse question, how much would I bet to fold out a king here? Probably somewhere like $250, so I size down to 150, hijack calls, and the river's a 10 of spades. He checks it over, I'm going to target the same portion of his range, which is King X. I think I would need to go like pot here to fold out a king, so I size down to 300s, but unfortunately he folds, and folds.
It's coaching time.
What is this guy's range when he donks multi-way?
Multi-way is
king
pretty
high board?
strong. It's pretty strong. He got a lot of King X, maybe even some King X with flush draws.
Yeah. Okay, so when he checks the turn, now what's his range?
He doesn't have a flush. Best hand he could have is, yeah, King X or some 2 pair. And how much would I bet to fold out 2 pair? Probably 250.
Is he capped or uncapped?
He is capped.
Is he elastic or inelastic?
I mean, not that inelastic, but
Hold on, sir. When you're trying to bluff recreational players, how many times do you need to tell them that you have a good hand? Once or twice?
twice.
At least twice. Okay, so this guy just donked multi-way on the flop on a king-high board. What hand are they always scared of? What hand do they always put you on as the pre-flop raiser?
Ace king, ace king.
He's not scared of ace-king.
So he has a better
So
hand
what-
than ace king.
Or he has ace-king, right? Like, he's got a pretty good hand here, right? It's like when he checks on the turn, what is his game plan?
Check call.
So why are we going 150, sir?
I think when a flush completes and they are folding to bigger than pot size, I don't want him to fold.
Yeah, but let's just think about his range.
I
The
don't
reason why you didn't raise the flop was because you thought he had a strong range. Carry that assumption to the turn.
I would like to go 250 now, yeah.
Me too. 250 is good.
Alright, this hand is interesting. Low jack and button limps. We look down at 10-8 suited in the small blind. We complete. Big blind check, so we're 4 ways to a flop of 10-9-6 with 2 clubs. Flop goes check through. Turns a 3 of hearts. With the top pair here, I would like to start value betting. Targeting hands like flush draws and straight draws. I bet 25 into 15. Big blind and low jack calls, so we're 3 ways to the river, which comes a jack of hearts. I think it's too thin to go for value here, so I elect to check. And button bets $60 into 90. Low jack folds, so what is his range? I think he may hit a jack with his flush draws on the turn, but I don't think he is checking his king queen on the pre-flop, and also he didn't bet the flop, he didn't raise the turn. That means he doesn't have 8-7. Of course, we can bluff catch here because he may bluff with his missed flush draws, but I think raising here can get me a range fold, as in some scenario he may hit a jack, but his jack is not going to call out check raise here. By calling, we may win about 75% of the time, but by raising, we're winning 100%. So I turn my showdown value into a bluff here. I check raise to 425 and the big blind folds. Big pot alert. Button puts in the straddle to 10. Big blind limps. We ISO on the cutoff with king 10 suited. Only the button calls, so we're heads up to a flop of king 4 deuce with 2 hearts. Button is a loose, aggressive rake. So I think if I check to him, he would make more mistakes than calling. Because aggressive players, they make more betting mistakes than calling mistakes. So I like to check and he checks it back. Turns the deuce of spades. So what is his range? When he checks back the flop, he doesn't have a strong king. He doesn't have 2 pairs. He doesn't have a set. So I think he got airs, some flush draws, some showdown value hand in his range. And on this turn pairing the deuce, I think is a very good spot for him to bluff. So actually, I like to check it to him again. And he start to bet $100 into 157. Not much reason to raise here. We don't want to alert him if he's bluffing. So I like to call. River's a 9 of clubs. We check it over to him and he overbets $550 into 357. I'm gonna stick with my plan. I snap it off and he shows king 3 of diamonds. We outkicked him and win a huge pot. In this hand, we open to $30 in early position with ace king offsuit. Small blind and big blind calls, so we're 3 ways to a flop, which comes jack 10 3 with 2 diamonds. They check it over to us in a multi-way pot. I'm just betting my good hands and good draws. Ace king here, we have a gutter plus some showdown value, so I like to check it back. Turns a 6 of clubs. They check it over to us again. I still think I have some showdown value here, so I like to check it back again. River's a king of spades. We have the top pair now. And small blind leads $50 into 85. Big blind folds, so when a player bets on a king on a river, the range is polar because either they're losing to ace king or either they're way ahead of ace king. So actually, I'm not feeling so great here, and I say,
I don't feel right.
call me a fish if I'm wrong. I put in a call and she tables pocket jacks. We lose. I'm a fish. Alright, in this hand, EP hijack limp. We look down at 6-4 suited on the button. I won't be squeezing here because multiple players limp, they would like to call more. So I would need to play a post flop with 6 high. I don't want to do it, but this hand is too good to fold on the button. So we put in a call, big blind check, so we're 4 ways to a flop of 8-8-5 with 2 hearts. They all check it over to us. We have a gutter now, so I would like to start betting. I bet $10 into 17. Only the hijack calls, so we heads up to a turn which comes a 10 of clubs. He checks it over, so what is his range? He can have some 8x, he can have some 5x, he can have some flush draws. So I would like to bet small here, targeting him to continue with flush draws, and also he would raise his trip 8s when he faced this kind of small size. So I bet 15 into 37, hijack calls, and river's a 3 of spades. He checks it over, so what is his range? He doesn't have an 8. He can have some 10x flush draws. So on this river, I think a 10 is calling a pretty big amount. I don't want to target that portion of his range. I just want to fold out his better flush draws, better high card. So I bet 30 into 67. Actually, I could go smaller, like $15 or $20. But anyway, hijack calls, we show our 6 high, and the table pocket aces. What? Big pot alert. Last hand of the session, but puts in the straddle to $10. Big blind and undergun limps a rake in the EP open to 75 when we look down at Freddie McCurry in the low jack. Most of the time I would just 3-bet this hand here, but the EP is a rake. So actually I would like to put in a call here, inviting the fish behind to come along, because I think I can win more money from them instead of 3-betting pre-flop. So I put in the call, hijack cutoff, and big blind come along, so we have 5 ways to a flop of 8-6-4 rainbow. Big blind and EP check it over to us. When the aggressor checks, I don't think he has overpairs here, so I would like to start betting. I bet 175 into 400s. I'm targeting hands like 8x, some straight draws, and I think those hands is still calling a bigger amount than 175, so I find my leak again. I can go bigger with my value even in multi-way pot, because the range that I'm targeting would just react the same way. But anyway, only the cutoff calls, so we're heads up to the turn which comes a deuce of spades. I don't know. I feel something is not going right, because when he call out bet when multiple players behind him, it seems to be a good spot for him to trap with sets or 2 pair. So actually on this turn, I would like to check, because he would just tell us what he got with his sizing. So I check it over to him and he bets $200 into 742. I think if he has hands like sets or 2 pairs, he's betting bigger than 200s, probably somewhere like 450 or 500s or 600s. They will get greedy. So with this size, he can have hands like 8x, some straight draws, or he can have some strong draws like combo draws, or 6x of spades, 4x of spades. And most of the time we are ahead here, so I elect to put in an all-in. I move all-in about 1k effective. He tanks and tanks and finally makes the fold. We don't get what we wanted, but at least we win the last part of the day.
Hey guys, we made a comeback. Today we played for 7 hours and I won 1.8k. Marco will put my total result here. Thank you, Marco. I'm gonna go to the tennis now. I'll see you guys in the next episode.